got into the Wim Hof Method was a personal experience. I didn't really know how to manage stress, and I was in this job and this environment there was a lot of pressure and overwhelm, and my body just couldn't cope with it. And so I had to realize it was like a big self-reflection of being able to go on this journey of self-healing. And through that journey, I discovered the Wim Hof Method, and it was such a beautiful gift to me. It really changed the trajectory of my life, with being able to understand my nervous system and how to teach my body how to better handle stress. And a lot of other health benefits came with that. The impact that it had on my life, so the first ice bath I ever had, it really brought myself home to myself, and I realized that I was so anxious and in my head. And so the experience that I received personally for that, I had this real inkling and calling that I found my purpose. And so once I'd found that, I went on this journey of becoming a facilitator, and now I just love helping to change people's lives with this, and seeing the strength that it gives people of especially thinking that they can't do something, and proving to themselves that they can actually do things, anything. So the training that is required to become a Wim Hof instructor is quite intense. So it's a 12-month process where you do a lot of these online modules to understand the science behind the method, and you'll do that by yourself, and then there's lecturers online that will help you. And then you have to go over to the Netherlands to do a workshop with Wim for the first part, and then you'll come back, and then you'll again get immersed in all of the research, practice on how to run a workshop, and then you have to go over for the last end and you do a 6-day stint with all the other instructors in Poland, where you're assessed on your delivery and also a test. And every year we have to resit an exam to maintain our license, because the science behind the Wim Hof Method is really important to Wim, to create the relevance and the importance of that. And then in that training, we also had to climb a mountain. So it was a European winter, 5 degrees, and it was snowing, and the only thing we were allowed to wear was a sports bra and bike pants and shoes. And the rest of our body was exposed, and it was a 2.5-hour journey up the top of the mountain. And so it just showed this journey of our mind creating these narratives of what we think we can achieve and what we can't achieve. And so through that process, my brain went into overdrive of thinking, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. And so what I had to do was surrender in that moment and realize that my body is so capable of doing these things. I just have to get out of my own way. And the minute that I trusted my body, this beautiful vessel that we have, I was able to accomplish something great. And it just was this beautiful message to be able to share with people that, we can do anything. Wim Hof, if I could sum him up with one word, would be love. He's just this beautiful big love bubble, and he doesn't take himself seriously. He jokes, he is so approachable, and all he wants to do is spread the message of love, happiness, health and strength. And he exudes that in his presence, and when you're around him, you get so intoxicated by his presence. And I just am so proud to actually be one of his instructors, to be able to help him spread this message, because he wants everyone to know that we've got everything we need on the inside. We just need to figure out how to connect back to it, and his method is a tool to help people to do that. So the breathing exercise are ancient yogic practices, but Wim experienced a trauma within his life where his wife actually committed suicide and left him with 4 children, really young children, to raise. And she was under the guidance, of psychiatric care, and he just felt like he wanted to ensure that people had access to tools, and more natural tools as well. And so he was left grief-ridden, and he needed to raise his children and to be there for them. And so he actually used the cold as a way of helping him deal with his grief, and the use of the breathing exercises. And so it was through his own intuition of combining it together that helped him soothe and heal his own trauma and own self, and then realize that there's something to this, and then approach scientists. It took years for him to be recognized as a legitimate, I suppose, method, but he persisted and went through it because he just knew the power of this from dealing with his own trauma of grief and loss. Every group that I come across and take people through, there's always some element of people thinking that they can't do the impossible and the unthinkable. And every group, I'm always pleased to see that even the people that from 2 seconds before them getting into the ice bath still in disbelief that they're able to do it, but then they actually get through it and they have this sense of accomplishment of realizing the power of their mind and their ability to push through, and always seeing that throughout every group. It just brings me so much joy to be able to do that. There was one standout lady, I don't remember her name, but she was in the last group, and she, right before she even got in, she's like, I can't do this, I'm not going to do it. And so even having that, belief so close into the moment before she went in, she was able to get in there, and I could tell on the look on her face that she was about ready to get out, and just being able to soothe and coach her through it. And then the shift that you see when they just relax into it and then realize, oh my God, I've done this. And I even spoke to her after the session, and she said, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I did it. And then just that joy, and that will transpire into her life as well, because if there's things that she initially thought that she couldn't do, and now she's done this, then she's going to be able to believe that she can do anything. So with the Wim Hof Method, the breathing exercise we use it as a training tool to be able to get better with handling stress. So it's something we do externally to a situation that we're coping with in the moment. So there's other breathing exercises that you can do in that if you're in the moment, what I like to, think about of in combat. So when you're, say, in conflict with someone and you're feeling heightened and you can't regulate your breath, doing something called the box breathing is really good. So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath at the top for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold your breath at the bottom for 4 seconds. That's a technique that they use in the military and the defense force, because they're in these real life stressful situations. So by doing that for a couple of minutes, you're able to calm your nervous system down. And even if you are struggling in the moment, just placing your hands on your ribs and finding your breath, placing your feet on the ground, wriggling your toes, creating some grounding and connection, and just making sure you're expanding through your rib cage. Because when we breathe up into our chest, our brain interprets that our body is in danger. And so if you're just shallow breathing, then you're just breathing stress into your body. So if you can bring your breath down into your diaphragm and rib area, then that's going to help to calm yourself down. And the more you do the Wim Hof Method, the less times that you are going to experience those moments of being heightened. So it's a great tool to help you to minimize those moments where you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Thank you so much for having me.